This video is brought to you by the Australian band The Immigrants. Drawing inspiration from today's hot button issues, here's a snippet of their music. For more information on the band, including hearing more of their music, seeing their merch, and their upcoming tour dates, check out the band's website below. The rock band Live would have one of the biggest selling records of the 90s with the release of their album Throwing Copper. The album produced several massive singles, including Selling the Drama, I Alone, and Lightning Crashes. Lightning Crashes would go on to become one of the band's biggest hits of their career, despite the fact that the band's record label thought it would never be a hit. Live would be linked to an American tragedy that would play a part in the band having the best-selling album in the country. That's what we're going to explore in today's video. Before we start today's video, guys, I've done a whole video on the career of Live. The link is down below. It's one of my most popular videos. Even though Live had released the album Mental Jewelry as their major label debut in 1991, it was 1994's Throwing Copper that propelled them into the national spotlight. It was following the tour of the band's record Mental Jewelry that frontman Ed Kowalczyk, who was 21 at the time, was still living at home in York, Pennsylvania. He was sitting on his brother's bed playing a song on guitar that would eventually turn into Lightning Crashes. This is the part where I tell you the song's origins, but by Kowalczyk's own admission in a 2004 interview on the DVD Awake, The Best of Live, he would state, "To this day, I have no idea where that song came from, and I love that." Lightning Crash's lyrics, much like the video, show the circle of life, but Kowalczyk would admit that the video caused some misinterpretations, stating to Spin magazine, "While the clip is shot in a home environment, I envisioned it taking place in a hospital where all these simultaneous deaths and births are going on. One family mourning the loss of a woman while a screaming baby emerges from a young mother in another room. Nobody's dying in the act of childbirth, as some viewers think. What you're seeing is actually a happy ending based on a kind of transference of life." The song would be dedicated to a friend of the group named Barbara Lewis, who was killed in 1993 by a drunk driver. Lewis was an organ donor, and following her death, her liver would be given to a 10-month-old baby, with Kowalczyk telling Spin, "It was something that we hoped would honor the memory of a girl we grew up with and help her family cope with the sorrow, which it seems to have accomplished, keeping with the theme of the song." The song would be released as the third single from Throwing Copper in September of 1994, along with a video for MTV. Initially, executives at the band's label balked at the thought of releasing the song as a single, given that its runtime was nearly 6 minutes. Ironically, it would become the band's biggest hit of their career. The single was helped by MTV, who put it in constant rotation along with rock radio. And then fast forward to Oklahoma City on April 19th, 1995, when nearly 170 people were killed in a domestic terrorist attack at the federal building by anti-government extremists. In the wake of the attacks, it would be a local DJ who remixed Lightning Crashes with news clips and speeches from then President Bill Clinton, along with emergency service sirens. Live's drummer Chad Gracie would recall to You Discover Music, it sort of became the de facto song for the bombing. It was definitely very bittersweet and surreal and strange to see this impactful event in our country and then have a song that we wrote be associated with it. Kowalczyk would tell Penn Live, "By the time we put out Lightning Crashes, the record had already gone double platinum, and I think after a couple of weeks of the single being out, record sales just dramatically increased. It really caught fire." By May 6, 1995, nearly a year after the record's release, the album topped the record charts in America. It would go on to move nearly 8 million copies domestically, and Live would be named Artist of the Year in 1995 by the readers of Rolling Stone magazine. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again in Rock and Roll Stories. Take care.